Men with quote unquote golden penis syndrome are ruining sex and dating for whammons. I read ahead in this one, and I'm just going to tell you now, this is absolutely hilarious. This is yet another case of women ruining something and then claiming to be the most affected. Women show up, ruin everything. Men adapt and start behaving differently. Women most affected. Now, you could summarize this entire article like that. Beware of the college grad cad. Men with college degrees have become so cocky that they're ruining romance for their female counterparts, one leading expert alleges. Let's just ignore the fact that men aren't acting anywhere near as bad as women have been for years. But you know that saying, right? Like, to those with privilege, losing that privilege seems like oppression. That's what's happening right now. Just 40.5% of college students in the U.S. are male, according to the National Student Clearinghouse, meaning they're in short supply and high demand when dating on campus. Yeah. So supply and demand, that's all this is. It's really the balance of power has shifted. It used to be that the women were the ones who were in demand and men were competing for women. And that's just fine, right? Nothing wrong with that. But now that it's the opposite, now that women have to compete for men's attention, suddenly it's, dating and romance has been ruined. Well, you wanted this, women. This is one of the primary reasons, I believe, that women get more miserable the more empowered they get. Because they are still looking for men that are of a higher social status than them. But now that they are 60% of college students and graduates, they're looking around and they're like, oh God, there's like 3 of us for every one man that's one step above in the social ladder. Uh-oh. Now we have to compete. It would have been a whole lot easier for them to find, was it higher value men if they didn't go to college? But this just skewed their perspective on a lot of things. They can't adapt. Despite the fact that they make $300,000 a year, they're not going to settle for a man that makes only $300,000. No, they need a man that makes $1 million a year to be worthy of them. Meanwhile, the man that's making $1 million a year is going for the 18-year-old pole dancer. That really pisses them off, actually. So I saw that video. I saw Drexel, actually. It was on one of Drexel's streams. I saw him playing that Tommy Lauren video when she was basically saying men are trash. And one of the things that offended her the most was when she found out that a guy that she was interested in and maybe they were dating found out, he was also looking into these, they called the Tatianas that have nothing. Like, you have any idea how much it offends us when we're put on the same level as these women that are just barely have a high school diploma? And meanwhile, the guys are like, think I give a fuck? This girl that barely got her high school diploma offers me way more than you do. But I make 6 figures and I have a house and I have a car. Like, yeah, so do I. I don't need that. I already have my own house, my own car, my own job. It doesn't matter to me that you have those. I'm not looking to date a man. These women project. They think that what they're looking for in a man must be what men are looking for in women, right? Nope. And that's why they're going to die alone and miserable, surrounded by cat feces. Now, a lack of competition had led these men to develop golden penis syndrome, an arrogance that stems from the assumption that a steady supply of females will be sexually interested in them. I'll take lack of self-awareness for 1,000, Alex. This is how women have been acting for centuries, and yet there's no problem whatsoever. Or at the very least, okay, maybe centuries is not fair. Let's just say since their sexual liberation. This is how women have been acting as a whole. And now that the tables have turned, they don't seem to like it very much. Yeah, this is just like that Bumble dating app where women have to make first contact with men, and then women are just bitching about how it's like, oh, these men are ghosting me. Oh my god. I'm being told no by like 19 out of 20 of them. Like, well, what do you always tell us? Learn to take rejection, right? Learn to accept no. Learn to take no for an answer. It's easy, right? It's just a word. That's what you've been telling us. So quit bitching. The golden penis syndrome has led these smug males to engage in dastardly dating practices, such as cheating and ghosting, because they're confident that another whammons will always be waiting around the corner. I'll take lack of self-awareness for 5,000, Alex. Yes, I know it doesn't exist. Give it to me anyway. You really don't like it when the same shit you've been doing for years is suddenly done to you, huh? The term was purportedly coined by frustrated female students at Sarah Lawrence College in upstate New York, where 3/4 of all enrollees are the fairer sex. Okay, that was true maybe 100 years ago, but right now they all look like Twigglypuff, so I'd call a lie on that. Journalist John Berger believes many college indoctrinated men in their 20s, 30s, and 40s have also developed GPS because they're similarly in high demand when it comes to dating. Literally, all this is supply and demand. When supply is low and demand is high, you know what? You can get away with some things. The only reason women are mad about this now is because it's flipped. It used to be that multiple men were competing for them. Now they have to compete with multiple women for this one man, and they really don't like it. The sex ratios among college indoctrinated hetero singles in Manhattan is approximately 3 whammons for every 2 men. I've interviewed a lot of men who were continuing to take advantage of that imbalance, Berger told Mel magazine. And here's another thing that further skews that number too. I'm willing to bet that at least 80% of those college indoctrinated men would be perfectly fine with a younger woman with no college degree. All they're doing is taking advantage of how desperate these college-educated hoes are. And in 1981 was the last time that 4-year colleges in the U.S. graduated more men than whammons. And yet, still, women get all sorts of special treatment and special programs and special help that men don't. Ever since, whammons have been leaving men in the indoctrinational dust. Sounds like a whole lot of not my problem there, if I'm being honest. Berger, who penned the best-selling book Datanomics, How Dating Became a Lopsided Numbers Game, further explained to the Daily Mail, we're seeing a generation of young men who think they're Adam Driver or Michael B. Jordan. Of course, it's not about them, it's the ratio. Where were you when this was flipped? When every woman thought that she was Angelina Jolie in her prime because she had like 5 simps coming after her. Now they notice the simps have dried up and they have to come after men. He continued, when men are in undersupply, the dating culture becomes less monogamous. Men are more likely to treat whammons as sex objects and treat relationships as disposable. Yeah, let's just ignore the fact that women routinely date multiple men. But whatever. Let's just ignore that. So not only are men with golden penis syndrome likely to treat their dates badly, they may also be less inclined to put effort into their physical appearance or their sexual performances. Well, why would they? So Berger previously spoke with the Post, declaring that dating was particularly dire for heterosexual whammons in New York. Well, let's add to how entitled these women are, because you realize articles like this ultimately stem from how entitled these women are. They don't like having to compete for something, and they think they should just have it handed to them. And you wonder why these guys just pump and dump you? College indoctrinated whammons are more likely to date among their own milieu of college indoctrinated men, but as their numbers are so skewed, they're in for a rougher time. And again, they're further skewed because college indoctrinated men have no problems dating the girl with a GED. Maybe women just need to lower their standards. So Berger told the Post that an imbalance is also exacerbated by New York's large population of gay males. That's the damn male gaze again, huh? Some 9 to 12% of men in Manhattan are gay. Okay, I think that's a bit on the low side. I would say it's like 75%, but okay. according to Gary Gates, a demographics expert at UCLA's Williams Institute. But Berger has some trusty advice for female singletons seeking to settle down. Be cautious of the college grad cads. Yeah, how about you actually accept reality and realize that you're never going to get the man that makes 500,000 plus a year because he could get the 18-year-old stripper. That's who he actually wants, not you. I know it's a rough pill to swallow, but that hot 18-year-old stripper has way more to offer him than you do, okay? He doesn't need anything you have. He already has it. What he wants is what you used to have, but you wasted getting a bunch of stuff that men don't want. And you're going to have to live with that now. I would be wary of guys who have remained never married into their late 30s or 40s, he explained to Daily Mail, especially the better looking ones with good jobs. These men are having too much fun playing the field. Hey, I can guarantee you right now that if these college indoctrinated whammons stopped dating those guys, they wouldn't care too much. The only reason they're getting with these college girls is because they're easy and desperate. Like, that's literally it. You're just a convenience. If you weren't there, they'd be fine. They'd just be, all right, I'll just have to put a little bit more effort into picking up that 19-year-old then. Whatever. No, he also advises whammons to be assertive when pursuing romance, stating, fact is, men like whammons who like them. Also, a man is much less likely to take advantage of a whammons who puts herself out there. It depends. But yeah. If a man truly knows that she loves him, unless he's a sociopath, he will probably treat her a bit better. But on the flip side, there's a reason we got these memes of these super clingy women. You don't want to be one of those. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.